Welcome seekers of the truth to the Magical Services channel. So this is going to be a most supreme horoscope for the general collective with accents on love and career for April 22nd of this year of 2026. With that said, collective, but actually before I do, let me tell you about the services of Magical Services because this is indeed a very magical channel. So I do offer personal astrology charts of all kinds useful for all aspects of life. Natal charts can be done to see why you are the way you are and to understand the placements in your chart. Synastry charts could be done to see the energy between you and someone else, to see if you're compatible or not, and or just how to be more tactical and strategic in your approach to the relationship as to make it endure, for instance. And I personally feel like synastry readings are better than any love reading that you could get from any tarot reader anywhere, because um, tarot can sometimes get emotional based on something that's happening that day or that moment, or you know what I mean. But synastry charts actually see the individuals at their very core, at the core where they can't even affect. You know, you can change some things about yourself, but there are some other things that you just cannot change about yourself. You're not even necessarily even aware of them in order to be able to change them. And down to those levels, I mean, down to the bone, down to the very, very core levels, is where synastry charts take it from. And so it's very powerful. And if you're not into fooling yourself after getting a synastry chart between you and someone, you should know if you're compatible or not with that person, if you're not fitting to fool yourself. Um, and also, composite readings could be done to see the actual energy of a relationship created between you and someone else as if you're an entity of its own. Once again, so you can be more strategic and tactical in your approach to that relationship. Or suppose you had a very special date or a very special appointment or a very relevant event in past, present, and or future. And this event is one that you said or one that someone else said. And you wanted to understand how the astral bodies were aligned for you personally in regards to that event. A chart could be done for that, so you could once again be more tactical and strategic in your approach to the event as to get the most out of it. For instance, is it a good idea to attend the event in case someone else set it for you? Or if you're setting it, when's the best time to set the event? Um, or, you know, is it a good idea to, you know what I mean? Tactical and strategic questions of all kinds can be addressed with astrology and personal charts. And beyond that, having been initiated into magic since the age of 10 in West Africa, I have more than 3 decades of magical practice behind me. So I have various spells in regards to various aspects of life, if not all aspects of life. Um, should you feel like you could use some magical boost in your life or you needed some magical work done, then let me know about it and we will see how we can make that happen most promptly. Um, and should you request some magical work to be done, its divination will be done beforehand, and I do divination with geomancy and or tarot. Um, Now, beyond that, if you feel like any of those services or things that could be useful to you in your life, please do contact me and we will make that happen as soon as possible. My email is in the About section below, or you can befriend me on my channel on Facebook, which has the same name as this one, Magical Services. And then we can share direct messages if that is more your style, collective. With all that said, let us indeed get into a reading for April 22nd of this year of 2026. So, across this 24-hour cycle, the dominant pattern is a tightening constructive pressure between fire sign acceleration and earth water consolidation. The result is not volatility for its own sake, but directional momentum that begins to demand decisions rather than contemplation. The solar position in Taurus stabilizes the entire field. This is a fixed grounding influence that pushes events toward material coherence, resources output, embodiment, and practical consolidation. Nothing in this window supports dispersion. Instead, it compresses intention into tangible outcomes. Whatever has been conceptual or delayed is now forced into form through repetition, persistence, and constraint. The lunar arc is the primary dynamic driver. The moon moves from early Cancerian sensitivity into a first quarter threshold by the end of the cycle. That progression is structurally important. It marks a transition from internal receptivity into outward challenge. Early in the cycle, emotional intelligence and environmental scanning dominate. There is a heightened perceptual sensitivity, particularly around relational security and personal anchoring. As the moon advances, friction increases. By the final segment, the emotional field is no longer passive. It demands alignment between inner needs and external direction. This is where attention becomes productive rather than reflective. Mercury in Aries continues to accelerate cognitive tempo. Thought processes are direct, compressed, and action oriented. This is not deliberate intelligence, it is executional intelligence. This is not deliberative intelligence, rather. It is executional intelligence. So it's not intelligence made to deliberate, it is intelligence for execution. Decisions tend to form quickly, sometimes before full informational completeness is available. The implication is clear. Speed is an asset, but premature closure is a risk vector. Communication is sharper, more declarative, and less tolerant of ambiguity. Venus in Taurus strengthens relational and value-based stability. In practical terms, this is a consolidating influence in affection, attraction, and financial preference structures. Desire patterns simplify. There is less tolerance for inconsistency and more attraction to reliability, sensory grounding, and predictable reciprocity. In relationship dynamics, this reduces emotional noise but increases expectations of consistency. What is not stable becomes less compelling. Mars in Aries introduces kinetic pressure into all decision systems. This is direct initiation energy, fast response cycles, competitive drive, and reduced hesitation thresholds. However, because Mars and Mercury are both operating in Aries, cognition and action are tightly coupled. This increases efficiency but also reduces friction buffers. In operational terms, this is excellent for initiation, um, suboptimal for long cycle planning unless discipline is explicitly imposed. Jupiter in Cancer expands emotional intelligence systems and long term protective instincts. Growth is not abstract here, it is rooted in security building behaviors. This supports family structures, long term emotional investments, and protective resource allocation. The tension with Aries placements is notable. Expansion wants safety, while cognition and action want speed. This creates a dual pressure system where growth requires both emotional grounding and rapid adaptation. Saturn in Aries imposes a structural constraint on initiation itself. This is a critical stabilizer in the configuration. It prevents impulsivity from becoming pure volatility by enforcing consequence awareness on every action impulse. The psychological effect is a subtle resistance. Actions feel slightly heavier than instinct suggests. This is a productive friction. It forces prioritization. Uranus in Taurus continues to disrupt static material assumptions. Value systems, financial expectations, and material dependencies are still undergoing nonlinear adjustment. Even with Venus stabilizing relational values, Uranus ensures that underlying economic or structural assumptions remain in flux. This creates a paradox: surface stability with underlying recalibration. Neptune in Aries introduces idealized urgency into identity driven action. There is risk of mistaking intensity for clarity. Vision can become fused with impulse, producing actions that feel meaningful in the moment but lack structural grounding. This influence requires conscious differentiation between inspiration and compulsion. Pluto in Aquarius operates at a slower but deeper structural level, reshaping collective systems of influence, networks, and technological social integration. In a short cycle like this, its effect is subtle but present as background pressure towards systemic reorganization rather than individual adjustment. When these layers are integrated, the dominant pattern is a three axis configuration. Taurus stabilizers with the Sun, Venus, and Uranus influence anchoring material and value systems. Aries accelerators with Mercury, Mars, Saturn, and Neptune influence compressing cognition and action. And Cancer expansion with Moon in its early phase and Jupiter amplifying emotional and protective instincts. The interaction between these axes produces a specific behavioral signature. Fast decision pressure operating inside a framework that demands material justification and emotional security validation. In Practical life terms, this translates into a period where outcomes depend heavily on timing discipline. Initiatives launched early in the cycle benefit from Mars Mercury acceleration but must be corrected by Saturnian constraint to avoid structural fragility. Mid cycle emotional awareness becomes a correction mechanism. Perception of relational or environmental stability determines whether actions are sustained or revised. By the final phase, the first quarter moon signature forces confrontation with reality gaps between intentions and outcome. In relational dynamics, this is a testing window. Venus in Taurus reduces superficial volatility, but Mars in Aries increases directness and impatience. As a result, interactions tend to become more explicit. What is unclear becomes unsustainable. Emotional truth is preferred over diplomatic ambiguity, but the cost is increased confrontation risk if pacing is not managed. In career and productivity domains, the strongest leverage lies in execution chains rather than ideation. The configuration favors individuals who convert decisions into immediate structured action. However, sustainability depends on whether Taurus and Saturn influences are respected. Systems, routines, and repeatable processes are the difference between momentum and burnout. Financially, this is a consolidation phase with volatility in assumptions rather than outcomes. Venus and Taurus stabilize short-term value perception, but Uranus ensures that underlying valuation models remain unstable. Avoid overcommitting to static assumptions. Flexibility in structure is more important than aggressive expansion. The final synthesis of this cycle is straightforward. Acceleration is abundant, but it is not self-sustaining. It requires grounding forces to convert speed into durability. Emotional intelligence is not passive here. It is a regulatory mechanism that determines whether momentum becomes progress or fragmentation. The operational directive embedded in this configuration is consistent across all domains. Act quickly but structure immediately. Feel deeply but verify stability. Initiate boldly but sustain deliberately. So that's what I had for you today, collective. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please like this video or comment this video or share this video or subscribe to our channel so you get first dibs on future uploads. And that would, of course, help me grow the Supreme channel of ours in case you wanted to help me do that. Now, if you want more insights into the week, check out the all sign long video format video that I did about the week. And that should be quite enlightening too. And check out my other videos. There are all sign ones and sign specific ones, shorts and longs, divination ones and astrology ones. And of course, I always strive to keep the standard supreme for y'all. So, yeah, thanks for your time. Thanks for being here. And until the next time, blessings.